Hello, good morning, and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. We are going to be doing another meal in a jar. These meals in jars are so helpful in uncertain times. It allows us just to go to our food storage, grab a jar off the shelf, and just do one or two things, and boom, we have a meal for our family. So we're trying to get as many of those set aside as we possibly can. And one of our very favorites is the one that we're going to be doing today, and it is called Chicken Chili Verde. And it is in the Ball Blue Book. It's on page 274. You can see I've got a lot of notes here. It's this green band right here. Now, it may be a little difficult to follow written the way that it is, but we're in luck. And because it's copyrighted, I can't give you a copy to print out because I respect copyright law. I have a lot of copyrights myself that I appreciate it when people will respect the law on copyright. So I myself and Jim too, especially, we have always respected copyright law. But the good news is that healthycanning.com has published this same recipe with permission. And I'm going to give you that link. And you can go there, and it's the very same recipe. They have just written it out like a traditional recipe. So in that way, it may be a little bit easier to follow. The recipe makes enough for 2 quarts. So I am doubling that today. And we already have about 2 out there. This is what it looks like. And it is incredibly yummy. We just absolutely love this. And I have 2 out there. I'm doing 4 today. That will give us 6. And that will be a 6-month supply for us because we eat this about once a month. And so that's how we're doing food storage. We calculate about how often we eat something, and then we do whatever advanced prep we need to do. For instance, this time it is to can this jar of food, and then all we will need to do is add rice. And so we're going to show you the whole thing today. Now, we have done this recipe as a video before, but in that recipe I used the European style Weck jars. I no longer use those. I still love the jars and I use them for a lot of other things, but I have just realized I prefer the ball canning jar method, and so that is what I'm going to be doing with this one. So that's a little bit new. I made a couple of changes in last time to the recipe, and I have kept only one of those changes, and the rest is exactly by the recipe. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients. We have, because I'm doing 4 quarts, I'm doing 4 pounds of chicken breast cut into bite-sized pieces. This was our Costco frozen chicken that we showed on a video as we vacuum sealed it. So we have all of this chicken. And then it calls for a can of white beans that you will need to rinse and drain. So I have the same volume as a can of white beans in this can of, these are Great Northern that we canned just a few months ago when we did our beaning up video. Now, here's the thing about using these beans. I could very easily pop this lid, drain and rinse these beans, and then put them in here because you see there are beans here in this recipe. But my logic is that why would I take already cooked beans from a can and put in here and cook them yet another hour and 15 minutes to process? So I have changed that. I've followed the USDA instructions in preparing to can beans. I soaked them overnight. I simmered them this morning in clean water for only 30 minutes. They're not done, they're still hard, but they're ready to can. And so that means that I can put them in the jars before they're all the way cooked and they won't be as mushy. So that's how I do it. But you can either use pre-canned beans or you can do like I did. So in addition, we're going to be using some chicken broth, and I just used some of this. It's over on the stove, heating up, it's boiling. Then we need some salsa verde, green salsa. This is also in the very same Ball Blue Book, and it is to die for. I'm going to link the video where we show how to do this at the end of this video, so you can either use some home canned or you can just buy it in the store. And then on our board, in addition to this jar of salsa verde, we have some sliced, diced cilantro, some garlic, green onions, and these are pickled jalapenos, and boy, are they good. So give us a second. I'm going to clear a little bit of this away and we're going to get started. So we are going to be using our Nesco canner today, and we'll get that out and just bring it over here in just a few minutes. And I'll talk about it when we get to that point. I'm only going to be doing 4 quarts so that we will have that 6-month supply of that particular recipe. And so I'm going to put the jars out right here, and you'll notice that I have 2 wide mouth and 2 regular mouth. I no longer really like canning in regular mouth most things. I will can chicken broth and liquid things in regular mouth, but the Nesco prefers the regular mouth. And I think that is so that we can get a better grip on them. They're easier to lift out when there's space right here. But I just alternate these in the canner and I can get them out just fine. So what we are going to do first is we are going to put 1 pound of meat of this chicken right here. Let's see, I'm going to zero this out. Okay. So I'm going to put 1 pound in. All right, so I had to recalibrate just a little bit. It wasn't looking right, and it wasn't. So I redid everything, and now they each have 1 pound. Now the next thing that we need to do is to put a 1/2 cup of beans in each one of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is a 1/2 cup of green onions. This moves pretty fast when we have everything all set up like this. It's very pretty going in. It kind of combines all together and doesn't come out quite as beautiful as this, but it still looks really nice. Okay, next is a 1/2 cup of the roasted salsa verde. Now I am, the salsa verde, I am using a new product here. I'm not recommending it yet. I'm still in the testing, but it is when you open a jar, you can use this. It's called a jar genie, and you just screw it on, and it supposed to capture the lid, and it did. It opened the lid, and now instead of using this, if I weren't going to be using all of this, I could just screw this back on and keep it right in the refrigerator. So I thought it looked like a kind of handy thing, and if I decide I'm going to recommend it, I will give you all the information where you can find these. The downside is that it only comes in regular size, but the inventor told me that he could also, it would be fairly easy to design wide mouth. Okay, so a 1/2 cup of the salsa verde in each jar. I might just, no, I need this, I think. There's a lot of air trapped down in these, so I just need a little more space here. Okay, next up is, okay, we have a teaspoon of salt going into each one. The other thing that I do that's a little bit different from the stated recipe is that I fill the jars this way, 1 ingredient at a time. They want us to mix it all into one big bowl and then scoop it up and put it in the quarts. Inevitably, when I do that, the ingredients are not evenly distributed. So since everything is going to be cooked together anyway, it's going to be just fine. All right, so then the next ingredient is going to be 1 clove garlic that is sliced per jar. So I'm just going to, I have 4 in here. I'm just going to kind of evenly distribute them. Okay. Then we have 2 tablespoons of cilantro. And 2 tablespoons of jalapeno. So this is very easy to do. Now I have our chicken broth right here. It's been boiling. So I'm going to be filling into 1 inch of headspace. And there's lots of trapped air here, so we're going to probably have to go back and forth a couple of times. It's going to bubble down, and we'll manipulate it until we get that we're sure that we have the right amount of this chicken broth. And there's just a couple of these that need a little touch more. Okay. Now, my paper towel is dampened with vinegar, and that is to cut the grease because we have canned meat, chicken in this case, and there's always the chance for oil, even with when we use broth, there's a chance that oil or fat can get on the rims. Okay, so there's my 2 wide mouth, there's my 2 regular, and we're doing finger tight. Okay, now this is our Nesco, and had an interesting conversation with the owner. This is called, it is like an Instant Pot, only it has a cycle where you can because it gets hot enough, according to what the manufacturer claims. And so I wanted to test it, just like they test other canners for accuracy. And I did, several years ago, testing of several canners, and I do not do that anymore, and I won't be doing it anymore. But I tested this Nesco, and I'm going to link that video at the end here so that you can look at it and decide for yourself, because I'm not recommending that you do it. I know that it is safe because I have tested it with highly scientific equipment and the very same protocol that was used to test this type of thing. And it did get up into the kill zone for botulism. It stayed there plenty long enough to kill all of the spores. I feel safe using it for my family. You need to make sure that you feel safe using it for your family. We're at 5,000 feet. And so it would be very likely that anything below 5,000 feet would also be very safe with a Nesco, but of course I can't guarantee anything, including any elevation above 5,000 feet. So this has a rack in the bottom. It calls for 2 quarts of water to be put in the bottom of the canner. So I'm going to come around and get these jars in. I am staggering the sizes of the lids, so I have plenty of room to get in and grab these when we're finished. Water's in the bottom, 2 quarts, as the instructions call for. Now I lock this in place, and then it is on. We hit high 1 hour. 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is the same as 90 minutes. It won't go 90, it has to go 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'm going to bypass all of these buttons. Certainly not pressure cook, that's not hot enough, but I have it now set, and I'm just going to hit start. And then here is the pressure regulator right here. There is a black one and a green one. Because we are over 1,000 feet, I use the green one. If you are under 1,000 feet in elevation, then you would use the black one. And I'm going to lift it up. It just dropped down. I want to lift it up. And we are going to, it will, when it goes through its cycle, it will vent for 10 minutes before it actually starts heating up. And then once it gets to the correct temperature, it will kick in for 1 hour and a half, 90 minutes. So it does everything from now on pretty automatic. The only thing that you need to remember to do is that after it has counted down its 10-minute minutes of exhausting, then you need to come in and make sure that it is down. Well, the canner went through its full program just perfectly. So it had finished about 5 minutes ago. We let the jar sit in the canner for about 5 minutes. And then I've just opened it right before we turned the camera on. So here we are. And chicken always makes the inside of the jars look a little bit funky, all that mottled spiderwebby stuff. But that's the way chicken is, so it's perfectly normal. So these did turn out just great. And we had very little siphoning. So I'm just now going to scoot these over, and there they are going to stay all night long. And then in the morning, I will wash the jars, label them, and get them back out there where they can join the other ones. Now, meanwhile, we're going to take this one from 2024. It is 2 years old, and we are going to make our dinner. I want to show you how easy it is to do one of these meals in jars when you have them on your shelf. So, I'm just going to open this one. Smell it. Yep, smells just fine. And put it in our saucepan. Now the instructions for this say to boil it for 10 minutes and then serve it over rice. Now one of the things that 10 minutes does is, if there is the unlikely possibility that there could have been some living botulism spores, and the spores vegetated and turned and produced some of that toxin, boiling it for 10 minutes will destroy that toxin. And I don't know if that's what their reasoning is. It's a little bit unusual to say boil for 10 minutes. Usually it's just heat through. But you can see what it looks like in the pan. And Jim and I have eaten this a number of ways. We've had it over noodles, and we kind of turn it into a little soup. We've eaten it just plain as a soup. But I'm going to put this on the stove, and we'll get this going. So essentially this meal is ready to go in 10 minutes, and that's the boiling time for the main dish over there. So what makes it so great is, as you know, and I've talked in a couple of other videos, I make a large batch of rice about once every 7 to 10 days and store 3 just exactly like this in that batch. And so that allows me to have already pre-cooked rice ready to go into the microwave to heat up in about 3 minutes. And it's hot and steamy just like it is just fresh right out of the pan. I just love these little storage jars. They're just wonderful. They have a vent in the top where I can just peel off the little stopper. And now I can put this in the microwave and it will vent perfectly here without my having to tilt the lid any which way. I'll put the link for these. So many people have asked about these. I'll keep putting the link every time I do this. So this is going in about 3 minutes before that is finished, and we'll be back. Everything is done, so let's dish it up. I'm going to open this rice. It's hot, but I want to not lose my little stopper, so I'm going to put it right back in. And then we're going to be using all of this rice, so. Oh, it's so fluffy and nice. Can you eat all this rice, honey?
Yeah.
Okay, so now for the chicken chili verde. And it is quite runny like soup, and it just goes over the top of the rice really nicely and gets some of that lovely liquid in there as well. And then for Jim,
That looks very nice.
it really looks nice. Tell me when.
That's enough.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit left that we can have later.
Yeah.
I might want some more too. So here we are, and this is the lovely meal. And all it takes for you to be able to do this in 10 minutes is to have those canned on your shelf, ready to go, and a supply of rice that you can cook up. And you can have the rice pre-cooked the way I did, or you can cook it while other things are going on, so that it's just just takes moments to get this ready. So I'm going to give it a little taste. It is delicious. It's just delicious. We haven't had it for a little while. I forgot how good it was. No, I knew it was good. But this is just such a tasty, really has a zing to it. Now, this was made with green chilies and not the jalapenos. Those were made with the jalapenos, so I'm looking forward to that taste as well. So let us know what you think. If you try this, let us know how you fix it and what you think of it. So this is all of us getting ready for these uncertain times in which we live by stocking our shelves as much as possible with meals that are quick and easy and inexpensive. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again very soon for more videos.